Hey, this is Fax of the Curtain Jerks, co-host of The Best There Ever Was, a pro wrestling podcast where we talk about wrestling's greatest matches. Now, today, I'm here to talk about the competitors in the A block of New Japan's G1 Climax tournament. Now, a quick note, there have been 6 winners since 2012 when the winner of this tournament started getting a world title shot the following Wrestle Kingdom. Those 6 winners were actually 4 men. All 4 are in this year's tournament. Now, we're going to get to 2 of those at the end, but first let's cover the people that are in A block that don't really have as great a chance to make the finals or win the whole thing. The top of the list would be Yoshihashi and Makabe. Let's be honest, both of these guys are basically jobbers at this point, not really worth talking about. Now, the next 2 that come up to mind are Big Mike Elgin and Bad Luck Fale. Now, one or both of these guys is probably going to get a nice push. Guys like the big guys, the strong guys, they always have a pretty good showing, but they ultimately never win the tournament. So we're not going to really give them a lot of chance in our predictions here. The next guy I want to talk about is Evil. Now, Evil's been getting a great push. He's had a couple of world title matches recently. The reason why I don't think he has a chance to really win this tournament is that he already has something of an established feud that's set with Chris Jericho. And since Chris Jericho does not appear very often in New Japan, it's likely that the payoff to that is still going to go for a little while. So having an additional top storyline where he's carrying around a contract and he makes the finals doesn't really make a lot of sense. Now, that said, definitely look for Chris Jericho to make a surprise appearance at some point during this tournament, as he did during the Super Junior tournament and cost Evil one of his matches. Now, another competitor that I don't think has a great shot is Switchblade Jay White. Now, this is someone that both Chris and I really hate. We don't like him. We don't like him in the ring, and I don't think that New Japan sees him as an immediate world title contender. He just lost the US title, and the mid-card seems like it's the best place for him right now. Now, a guy that's also in the mid-card, and actually is somebody that I think Juice Robinson should probably be watching to make sure he doesn't lose the US title to him really soon, is Adam Page. Now, Chris and I are both really excited about Adam Page. This is the biggest shot on the biggest stage that he's had in his career so far, and we see him really making something of it. He's probably not going to win the tournament, although Chris thinks that he actually has a decent chance of potentially making the finals. Now, what I do expect, and Chris as well, is that he's going to have a lot of really great featured matches here, and he's going to really elevate himself so that he'll be ready for the top of the card really soon. Now, that leaves 3 people that we think actually have really credible shots at coming out of A block and being in the finals and potentially winning it all. One is Hiroshi Tanahashi. He's the all-time ace of New Japan. Now, the thing about him is that the comparisons to John Cena are really valid. That whoever goes against Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom, that's a featured match. He does not need to wrestle for the world title, and by not having him in a title match, actually somewhat elevates the entire card. So while it certainly wouldn't be out of left field and unreasonable for him to win the tournament, I really don't expect it as much as the next 2 guys. Now, the next guy is Minoru Suzuki. Now, Suzuki's another guy like Tanahashi that is really established and probably doesn't need a world title match to seem important, but as the oldest competitor in the field, he's having probably my favorite year of his entire career. He's probably the best heel in all of pro wrestling right now. I actually squeal with glee when he comes out. So while I don't think he's my absolute favorite to come out of A block and potentially win the whole thing, he is definitely a tangible, credible threat, and I would love to see him chasing the title from now until January. But obviously, when it comes to the favorite out of A block, Chris and I both believe that Kazuchika Okada is the clear front runner and by far the most likely guy to come out of A block and represent A block in the finals. I've got a quick fact for you on Kazuchika Okada in the G1 Climax. Now, remember when I said that there's been 6 winners since the contract stipulation was added in 2012? Well, twice Kazuchika Okada has won won that contract himself. The other 4 times, he was the champion, and he beat whoever won the contract in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom. That's right, Kazuchika Okada has been part of all 6 Wrestle Kingdom heavyweight title matches since this stipulation was introduced. And, you know, that's a pretty strong precedent, and far be it for me to say that it will not continue this year. Again, none of the other guys in the tournament, outside of Kenny Omega himself, have really been positioned as anywhere near credible threats to this all-time ace. And that's it for my thoughts on the A block. Check out the next video here at the Curtain Jerks for my thoughts on the B block competitors, as well as Chris and my predictions on what the best bouts of the first 3 nights of the tournament are going to be. And don't forget to check out The Best There Ever Was, the podcast Chris and I co-host covering pro wrestling's greatest matches. Subscribe wherever you find your podcasts. The only 4 names you really have to remember. Yeah, even you got it. Omega, Okada, Tanahashi, Naito.